There are moments in life when suffering feels unbearable, when pain seems endless, and when hope appears too fragile to survive. Yet Viktor Frankl, a psychiatrist and survivor of the Holocaust, discovered that even in the darkest conditions, the human spirit can rise above despair. In his timeless book, Man's Search for Meaning, he shows us that our deepest freedom is the ability to choose how we respond to life. Frankl's story is not only about survival, it is about transformation. In the concentration camps, everything was stripped away: family, possessions, dignity, even the certainty of living another day. Yet what remained was the ultimate human freedom, to find meaning in suffering and to hold on to hope when everything else was lost. And before we go further, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share it so others can discover this powerful truth. Frankl realized that life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by the loss of meaning and purpose. Even in the camps, some prisoners gave up, while others held on. The difference was not physical strength, but the presence of a reason to live. If we have a why, we can endure almost anyhow. This discovery became the foundation of his philosophy, known as logotherapy. Logotherapy teaches that our primary drive is not pleasure, as Freud believed, nor power, as Adler claimed, but meaning. We are wired to search for purpose, to connect our lives to something greater than ourselves. When meaning is absent, despair takes over. But when meaning is present, even suffering becomes bearable. Even death loses its sting. Meaning is the oxygen of the soul. Frankl observed that those who survived the camps often did so because they focused on someone or something waiting for them. A loved one, a mission, a future goal. This hope gave strength to endure another day. He understood that no matter how cruel life becomes, it cannot take away the power of our inner choice. We can choose to give up, or we can choose to find meaning. This truth is revolutionary because it shifts the power back to us. We cannot always control what happens, but we can always control how we respond. Life is not about eliminating suffering, but about discovering purpose within it. Pain without meaning destroys us, but pain with meaning shapes us. This is the secret that turned prisoners into survivors, victims into victors. One of Frankl's most famous insights is that everything can be taken from us except one thing: the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given circumstance. This freedom is the foundation of dignity, the proof that we are never completely powerless. Even in chains, we can be free because our mind and spirit remain untouchable. Frankl explains that we discover meaning in three main ways: through work or deeds, through love and relationships, and through the courage we show in suffering. Each path gives us a reason to rise above hardship. Work allows us to create, love allows us to connect, and suffering allows us to grow. When we see suffering as an opportunity for inner triumph, we transform pain into power. Love, for Frankl, was one of the highest forms of meaning. He described how in the camps, thoughts of his wife gave him strength when everything else failed. Even without knowing if she was alive, the act of loving her kept him alive. This reminds us that love transcends circumstances, time, and even death. To love is to live with meaning. Work, too, became a source of hope. Frankl imagined himself teaching students after the war, sharing the lessons learned from the camps. This vision carried him through unimaginable suffering. For us, this means that our contributions, no matter how small, create meaning not just for ourselves, but for others. Our work becomes proof that our existence matters. And then there is suffering itself. Frankl taught that suffering is unavoidable, but how we bear it can become our greatest achievement. When we endure hardship with dignity, when we face pain without surrender, we rise to a higher level of humanity. Our suffering becomes testimony, a message to the world that the human spirit cannot be crushed. Frankl's philosophy does not glorify suffering. It simply accepts it as part of life. The question is not, How can I avoid suffering? But how can I find meaning within it? This shift transforms suffering from a curse into a calling, from a burden into a teacher. Pain may visit us, but meaning can redeem it. In the end, Frankl reminds us that meaning is not something we invent, it is something we discover. Life is always asking us a question, and our responsibility is to answer with courage, love, and authenticity. When we live this way, no suffering is wasted, no moment is meaningless. Life becomes not an endless struggle, but a sacred opportunity. Meaning, Frankl insists, is personal and unique to each of us, unfolding differently in every situation we face. Nobody can hand us a universal purpose, because meaning is not something imposed from outside. It is discovered in the depth of our own hearts. Each challenge, each joy, each hardship asks a question, and our response becomes our answer. This responsibility might feel heavy, but it is also liberating, because it proves that no moment is ever truly empty. We often think happiness is found in escaping suffering, but Frankl proves the opposite. Real fulfillment arises when we embrace both the joy and the pain of living. We cannot erase hardship from human existence, but we can transform it into testimony of resilience and dignity. True happiness is not avoidance, but integration, learning to grow through both darkness and light. We become stronger not by running from pain, but by using it to rise higher. This book also redefines our understanding of freedom. Many imagine freedom means limitless choices, or doing whatever we please without restrictions. But Frankl shows that real freedom exists even when our options are stripped away, because it is the power to choose meaning in any circumstance. The body may be imprisoned, but the spirit remains untouchable. True freedom, therefore, is not escaping boundaries, but transcending them through conscious choice and inner strength. In our modern age, we are surrounded by comfort, yet many still feel restless and empty. We live with technologies and luxuries the prisoners of the camps could never imagine. But without meaning, even the easiest life becomes unbearable. Frankl's voice reminds us that purpose is not tied to possessions or status. It is rooted in contribution, connection, and resilience. Without a why, even comfort becomes misery. With a why, even pain transforms into triumph. Frankl's logotherapy continues to inspire psychologists, leaders, and seekers of wisdom across the world. He taught that therapy is not only about reducing symptoms or healing wounds, but about awakening meaning. Asking, "What is the purpose of my life?" is not a sign of despair, but a step toward clarity. Life always demands an answer, and we respond not with words alone, but with the way we live each moment. The principle that he who has a why can bear almost any how is more than philosophy. It is survival in its purest form. Purpose gives us stamina to endure storms that would otherwise crush us. Without meaning, even small obstacles feel unbearable. But with meaning, even great tragedies can be carried with dignity. Anchoring ourselves in purpose allows us to rise above suffering and transform despair into determination, hopelessness into unshakable resilience, weakness into hidden strength. Frankl's life after the camps became a living proof of his philosophy. Though he lost his family, his home, and endured unimaginable pain, he rebuilt his life with clarity and purpose. He wrote, he taught, and he inspired millions across the globe. His suffering was not wasted, it was transformed into service. His wounds became wisdom, his despair became light for others. His life shows us that even from ashes, new strength and vision can rise. For us, the lesson is undeniable. We may not always choose our suffering, but we can always choose our meaning. Challenges will arrive uninvited, hardships will test us, and pain will visit every life. But in each moment, we hold the power to decide how we respond. Will we surrender to despair, or will we rise to courage? In this choice lies our true freedom, and in this freedom, our deepest power. Imagine the transformation of society if more of us lived with this awareness. Families would endure trials with unity and patience. Communities would stand stronger in the face of division. Individuals would walk with dignity, even in times of hardship. A world built on meaning cannot be shaken easily because its foundation is deeper than comfort or wealth. It rests on the human spirit's resilience, which no external force can ever completely destroy. Frankl never offered an escape from suffering, but he offered something far greater, a path to meaning that makes suffering endurable. He showed that life's value is not measured by comfort, but by purpose. And meaning is not a luxury for the few, but a necessity for all. Without it, we lose our way. With it, we rise above limitations and discover a strength we never knew we had within us. So we must ask ourselves, will we let suffering define us as victims? Or will we let it refine us into stronger beings? Will we waste our pain in resentment? Or will we use it as fuel for growth? The decision is always ours. Meaning is the alchemy that transforms pain into wisdom, despair into determination, and suffering into a story of strength and renewal. In the end, man's search for meaning is not simply a book. It is a call to action, a challenge to live with clarity and courage. It reminds us to stop waiting for life to hand us meaning, and instead to start creating it through love, work, and dignity in suffering. And if this message moved you today, like this video, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share it with someone who needs hope. Together, we rise.